Yo, what's poppin', guys? You got your boy Nandra here, back at it with another video. So for today's video, what I'm going to talk about is going to be a little bit different than what I usually do for some of my videos. I actually want to go ahead and tell a story, if you will, sort of. I want to go ahead and talk about what I do to be successful when I'm doing GP. So for those of you who don't know, I actually have three 5-0 GP final finishes under my belt. I would actually have 4 right now, but some unfortunate circumstances happened in the last GP, causing me to lose my spot for contention for a 5-0. However, that being said, obviously the takeaway here is that, whenever I do GP, I'm usually pretty wildly successful. Now, is it luck? Is it skill? You can be the judge of that. There is obviously going to be like some luck involved, but more often than not, it's usually just skill and planning ahead of time for what I expect to face. So what I wanted to go ahead and talk about now is I wanted to go ahead and just kind of like break it down, like kind of like in a step-by-step sort of like journey, if you will, where I go ahead and I talk about like what I'm doing in stage 1, what I do in stage 2, what I do in stage 3. So today's video is going to focus on stage 1. So stage 1 is, the very first day of GP. So very first day of GP, what you want to do is you don't want to do it right away. You want to do it about like 5 or 6 hours after the fact. So most times the GP, they open up at about I want to say 9 p.m. EST, something like that. Yeah, about, like at or around like 9 p.m. EST, depending on like what happens and whatnot. So if you're like wondering like what this usually means, I usually don't play until, I don't know, maybe like 4 a.m. EST, something like that. Yeah, I usually like don't like start doing it until like that. Now, mind you, part of that is just because I just happen to like naturally wake up at that time. But the other part is just because like most times when you're doing GP or whatever, there's gonna be like, especially on day one, there's gonna be a huge rush of people who actually care about GP, or rather the people who are, I guess for lack of a better word, are gonna try it or whatever. They're gonna be playing GP or whatever, and they're gonna do it probably right as soon as it starts. Now, this might not hold true for everyone, because not everyone cares about the game that much, right? But generally speaking, what you want to do is if there's someone who cares about maybe like seeing less tougher competition, they can just wait, go ahead and wait a few hours, and you'll have an easier time. Now, again, like I know this for a fact because I know like a lot of times when I do stage 1 GPs, I face a very, very large amount of beginner or basically not master players who are also probably usually not smurfing either, because yes, smurfing is another big thing. I'll get I'll talk about that and well, I guess I'll talk about that right now. So obviously smurfing is basically like, you're a higher skill level, but like you're playing on like a lower ranked account for various reasons. Some of it good, some of it bad, usually bad, but whatever, teach their own, and that does happen. That's something that you got, I guess just accept or deal with, or just not worry about or whatever. But more often than not, I usually find that when I do it this way, I usually tend to fight people who are usually, again, like I said, usually a little bit more beginner ranked and whatnot. And this is good. This is good for 2 reasons. One, because when you're playing GP, you have to accept that one game you're gonna get clown fiesta. So some unfortunate series of events is just gonna happen to you, and you're just gonna have a bad time. So by making sure that I put myself on spot to try to have sort of the die roll in my favor, and I have a few more training weight or handicap sort of people that can fight and go ahead and farm free wins off of, that makes it better for me, right? Because if I get three easy games, right, and I have 2 hard games, all I need to do is just win one of those 2 hard games, I'm good to go. As opposed to, if I have 5 hard games, I have to win 4 of those hard games in order to be able to get what I want, which is the qualification to stage 2 or group B, or no, sorry, not group B, I'm sorry, stage 2, where you're for finals. So that's 1. 2. The other important thing is actually, finding your deck. Finding what deck it is you're going to play. Now, I think the best thing that I could tell you about this part is that before you do the GP for whatever format it is in, right? Before you do the GP, you want to go ahead and spend a few days playing the format that they tell you it's going to be in first. so we have a general idea of what's popular in this meta game, what you expect to see. Like for example, there are certain things that you literally cannot see in rotation that they'll see in unlimited. Like for example, you're not gonna see Roach in rotation. You're not gonna see City Cave in rotation, things like that. But you're gonna see them in unlimited. And you know, of course, you know, the same thing works in rotation. Like for example, in rotation, you're gonna see like Lashana Portal or whatever, but you're not gonna see that unlimited. And it's very important just, you know, figure out, okay, well, what do I have issues fighting against? Yeah, what do I have issues, you know, fighting against like you know, right off the bat and whatnot? Because obviously there are some things that people just like kind of like, you know, naturally just like struggle with, you know, for whatever reason. Like for example, in the past I used to struggle with like do nothing Haven decks just because like, well, I don't have the best of track records versus them because I have just like unfortunate things happen to me, you know, so on and so forth. So for example, for today's GP, what I decided that I was going to do is that like, oh, well, if you've been like, you know, watching any of my streams and whatnot, I've actually been playing a lot of Unlimited, well, for various reasons, but I just so happened to be playing a lot of Unlimited or whatever, and I found that, oh, well, you know, I really like playing Dark Feast Bat. I also really like playing Aggro Dragon, but Aggro Dragon's probably a little bit more consistent than Dark Feast Bat, just because like, well, you get a lot of damage on the Dark Feast Bat, so the games aren't really 100% decided by your skill. They're more or less decided by how hard does your opponent hit you in the face while you're taking all the self damage and not healing, right? And of course, you know, do you get the turn 1 or turn 2 flowers? Of course, if you don't get that, you're just kind of you know, out of luck, right? You're just out of luck and just have unfortunate things happen to you. Yeah, like, so for that, like, obviously, you know, going ahead and going into this, I was like, oh, well, of course, I'm just gonna just, you know, play Aggro Dragon. Now, the first run GP that I did, I actually went 3-2. Yeah, I went 3-2. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was that happened to me. I remember now. Okay, so very first game, I was versus Midsword. Midsword in Unlimited is basically more or less like a control deck that aims to host up aggro because they play the most possible wards that any deck in Unlimited can play. By being able to play, like, I think it's like 9 natural wards. You play 2 front guard. Front guard is a double ward, and then of course, also a double / multi ward is also your 3-drop, the one that evolves and gets you wards based off the number of creatures your opponent has. So yeah, so it's obviously that's a lot of stuff to choose through. And mind you can do it. You can definitely get through all that, but the hand I had just kind of, you know, failed, and I wasn't able to get through it. And of course, in game, I think it was like game 4. Yeah, game 4, when I was like, you know, still fighting for my tournament contention. Or I guess GP contention or whatever. I ended up facing Mid Shadow. Mid Shadow is a, you know, another one of those things of, oh, well, you know, you're gonna see a lot more in Unlimited than you're gonna see in rotation. That's another, you know, get deck that, like, oh, well, some of the hands that I can get are kind of bullshit because you just have like healing, you have like clears, you have all these like nice things you can have. I just, you know, I just wasn't able to make it. But of course, you know, I just, you know, I stuck with it. Like, I realized that, okay, well, this is like an unfortunate thing that happened. I just, you know, you play through it, and you, of course, you know, very next round, oh, boom, 5-0. Like, most times it's usually pretty rare for me to go like 1-4 or like 2-3 or whatever in GPs. And of course, you know, Unlimited is no exception to this. Like, I usually tend to go 4-1 or 5-0 like on the first one, or definitely at least the second one. I don't think it's been like a single time where I've had to like do it like multiple times just to qualify. Just because, like, again, when you know the format, when you know what it is you want to play, we know what decks is you're supposed to play against and how to play against them, boom, you're set. Like, it's sort of just, you know, being back at school, just, you know, doing your homework, or, well, I guess you're like me, doing your homework for the first time, because I was not a homework person in school. Yeah. So that's, you know, what I do for stage 1. Now, obviously, speaking for stage 2 will be a separate thing. I'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and cover when we get around to stage 2. And of course, I'll also do the same thing for finals. Now, I don't think I'll always do these. I think the thing's just like a general, like, sort of like primer for you guys, if you guys are, you know, wondering about, oh, what it is for me to do. Although obviously, of course, if this video gets like a number, I don't know, like a decent number of likes, I guess maybe like, I don't know, 15, 20, I don't know, something like that. If it gets like that amount of likes, of course, you know, I'll start doing these more often for GP and whatnot, just so you guys can like have a primer. Of course, if there's like there's like something in particular that you want to like hear me talk about while I'm like doing these primers, of course, just, you know, go ahead and like let me know, and I'll go ahead and try to take care of that. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.